2017 is here and it's time to start marking down some video game releases slated to launch throughout this year. While there are plenty of new titles that have yet to be officially announced, we looked through some upcoming titles we can't wait to get our hands on. For this list, we decided to focus on our favorite upcoming action games set to launch this year. Take a look at our picks down below and let us know what upcoming video games you're looking forward to playing most by leaving a comment. Number 1. Nier Automata. Nier Automata is an upcoming action role-playing video game. Taking place after the fourth ending of the previously released Nier, Automata follows your android sent to Earth in order to fight the invaders in a proxy war. Being set in an open-world environment, players will control multiple characters with combat mainly focused on melee weapons. Unfortunately, while Japan has a confirmed release date within 2017, a specific Western release date was not officially revealed. Number 2. Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn will mark as the first IP developed by Guerrilla Games since their release of Killzone in 2004. This is an action role-playing video game title that is set 1,000 years into the future. Mankind has mysteriously fallen with cities only a shell of a once thriving society. Now only small tribal groups remain with giant mechanical beasts roam the world openly. The plot will revolve around a female hunter named Aloy who sets out on a journey to explore the open world, meet with other tribes, and potentially learn of the reason mankind fell to being with. Number 3. Vampyr. Development team Dontnod Entertainment really gained mass exposure for their Life is Strange video game release. Now the studio has taken a much darker tone for their next IP, Vampyr. This is a title that is set during the 1918 London Spanish flu pandemic. Players will take the role of a doctor named Jonathan Reed who happens to be a vampire. Jonathan is fighting his own inner demons that plays on his sworn Hippocratic oath as Jonathan understands his needs to feed on the blood of humans in order to survive. Number 4. Mass Effect, Andromeda. The next installment of the Mass Effect franchise will be launching during the second quarter of 2017. From what we know so far, Mass Effect, Andromeda will be taking place hundreds of years after the events of Mass Effect 3. Set within the Andromeda galaxy, players take on the role of an N7 Special Forces soldier who is set to be a Pathfinder. These Pathfinders are an operative task force that is in charge of discovering new planets for the human species to colonize. Number 5. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands will be the 10th installment in the Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon franchise. This time around, the game is set in Bolivia, where the rising power of drug cartels has become a concern to the United States government. To deal with this concern, the government has sent in an elite special operations unit called the Ghosts to destroy the cartels. Unlike previous installments within the franchise, players will be set in an open-world environment. Number 6. Crackdown 3. Nearly a decade after the release of Crackdown 2, Reagent Games is bringing out the third installment, Crackdown 3. The video game doesn't have too many details available quite yet, though we do know that there is a big emphasis on destruction. Players will be able to destroy practically anything within the video game thanks to a Microsoft cloud computing platform known as Microsoft Azure. Number 7. Days Gone. Days Gone is a video game being developed by SIE Bend Studios, and interestingly enough, this will be their first IP creation since their 1999 release of Siphon Filter. Not much has been revealed for Days Gone quite yet, but we do know that this will be an open-world zombie post-apocalyptic video game. Players will be controlling Deacon St. John, who was once a bounty hunter. Now that the world has been invested with a disease turning humans into the living undead, Deacon St. John will have taken to the open road in an attempt to survive another day. Number 8. God of War. God of War was a pleasant surprise during E3 2016, and while we don't know too much about the upcoming soft reboot, there is already plenty of hype within the gaming community. So far we know that an older Kratos has returned, this time acting as a mentor and fatherly figure to a young boy. While successfully in his revenge against the Olympian gods, Kratos has since moved on to the world of Norse mythology with a new set of gods and monsters that await him. Though it has not been stated that God of War will be launching within 2017, it is expected that the title will launch at some point next year. Number 9. Prey. At this point, not too much is known about Prey. Originally, the video game was first set to be a sequel to Prey, which had released back in 2006. However, after the game rights were passed around and ultimately cancelled, the video game would be picked up as a reimagining of the first Prey installment by development team Arcane Studios. From what has been revealed so far, Prey will take place during an alternate United States timeline. President John F. Kennedy had survived his assassination attempt, and as a result, Kennedy continued to push into funding the space program. The start of the game campaign will be taking place on Talos I, a space station that has been built during Kennedy's term and continues to flourish in the year 2032. Number 10. SpiderMan. Normally when we look at video games based on movies, television shows, or even comic books, they are often not worth picking up. However, with Insomniac Games developing the upcoming project, we're certainly interested. Insomniac Games has been developing a new Spider-Man title that will be set in an open-world New York City. Players will be taking on the role of Spider-Man with his abilities to web-sling, wall crawl, and heightened alert during combat. While there's little news as to what the video game will be based around in terms of story, it's expected that we'll see this Spider-Man project release at some point next year, 2017.